Screen. Hello. How's everyone doing? Just waiting for people to pour in. Hello. Oh, we have a superstar who just joined um, our chat. Let me know how everything is, by the way. Is the presentation looking good? I just want to make sure my audio is great and you can hear me and see everything okay. Let me know if everything's fine. Hey, Cookie Monster. Hey, Matty. Good to see you. Everything looks perfect. Thank you so much, Ivan. Um, okay. I think we'll wait a couple of minutes for people to start pouring in, um, and then we can get started with the proceedings for today. It's been a while. Happy New Year! I feel like the last time we had this was end of the year. So yeah, how's your New Year going, everyone? Hey, Desi. Desi joined. Um, Yeah, let me know how your New Year was. Mine's going great. We're in February already, so that's good. Time's moving. Lots of stuff. Hey Derek, thanks for joining. Numbers are climbing. We've got 31 people, 33 people. Hey Martin, lots of project and work. Yep, that's the new year. Is there anything specific that you're working on that you want to share? Let us know. Um, Hey Scott, long time. Yeah, it's good to see so many familiar faces back. It's nice to be back talking to everyone. We'll wait until the numbers go a bit higher and then we'll get started. I'm sure everyone's pretty excited for this month's community call. Got some very exciting things that we're hoping to share and some exciting conversations that we're hoping to have. Hey Saad, hey Makushi Mawen. Oh my gosh, I butchered your name. I'm so sorry. Um, ooh, that's a lot of people. Okay, hey Marco. We've got people pouring in from all over. Today is also a very special call. Not only is it the first one of the year, but for the first time, we're streaming on multiple platforms. So we have people from YouTube. Hey YouTube. Got Marco from YouTube there. Got a couple of people from Twitch. I see Valley and their Convli says Twitch for the win. And we've got people from Twitter. Do we have anyone from Twitter? Let us know. Drop a comment, however that works. And yeah, I think we've got a good number of people. We've got 40 people on. And I'm sure as time goes by, we will start to get more people. So, and welcome again. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined. Welcome to the February community call. Let's kick things off. So, what's on the agenda for today's call? So today we'll be looking at what's new, and we'll have what's new in Strapi, what's new in the Strapi ecosystem, and a lot more things. Maybe a few surprises. We'll also do an AMA with Aurélien, who's our CPO, and we'll have a lovely demo from Boaz Poolman. And I have a very special introduction that I'm really excited to give about him because it will make more sense in the future. But before we get into what's new, I just want to say hey to a lot of the people who joined. I see Thibaut, I see people from Somalia, I see Emily, I see Thomas, I see so many familiar faces. But anyway, my name is hiding me. Thank you. I think I'll sit up a bit more. Um, Thanks for letting me know. But all right, just to kick things off, let's actually dive into what everyone came here to do. let's get into what's new, and I will bring on a fan favorite, Aurélien, and then I will
Hello.
disappear. All right, take things away, Aurélien.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Daniel. So super excited to be in this community call, and let's start about seeing what's new. But maybe before we start, a quick reminder of like the main event that happened last year during the last quarter. So you mostly all knows that we released Strapi V4 with a new design. We received so many positive feedback. We worked a lot on the accessibility aspect, and with that, we provide, I think, very good Strapi design system. For your information on Figma, I think we got more than 4,000 duplicate on the Figma file, which is pretty amazing and huge in terms of numbers compared to other design systems. So we are really excited about that. The V4 comes with the plugin API, and we will talk a bit about the marketplace today. But yeah, it enables everyone, like every contributors or every customers and users of Strapi, develop their own plugin and customize Strapi very easily without any like breaking change or like avoiding breaking change when you upgrade your Strapi application and projects. So that's the cool part about that. We also develop a new query engine, which makes like the queries easy to at least write in your code base, and it will like facilitate the integration of other databases in the future. And we already talked a lot about that during the a previous call, but a new REST and GraphQL API. We know and we heard you on that we still need to progress on the GraphQL API mostly. But yeah, that's it for the news on Strapi V4. You pretty all know that new interface. That's look, yeah, it's slick, to be honest. I really love it. And with the design system, I wanted to also put that website and yeah, highlight it to you. Don't know if all of you know it, but if you want to develop your own plugins, if you want to use our components for your own project, this design system is completely open source, so you can use it for free without any limitation and restriction. And this is available on design-system.strapi.io. So feel free to use it, feel free to give us feedback. And if you're developing plugins, that's one of the requirement to be listed on the marketplace is to use the design system, because we want to keep consistency across all the plugins in our ecosystem to make sure we can, all of us, deliver a great experience to all the users of Strapi. And the other thing is the injection zones. They are not pretty well known yet, but this is like the best representation I think we have of those injection zones. It's like you can inject buttons at the very top level of the screen in the edit view to add preview buttons or duplicate buttons very easily. You can add many kind of side blocks on the right side of the edit view as well. So it's pretty easy to do that with the injection zones, and you can do the same, or you will be able to do the same in the list view. Let's see what we are cooking right now in Q1 with that quarter. So we just announced and released the web marketplace today. So it was a pretty big project. We started working on it in July, or maybe a bit before that, but yeah, and it has been like 6 months work. It's pretty huge event. When you look at the marketplace right now, it seems like pretty small, but to be honest, it's a huge amount of work, like to review all the plugins, and also like to develop all those backends, like for all the contributors, and also our backend for listing all the plugins. And you will see some improvements coming the coming weeks on that marketplace. It was really important for us to build a home for our community. The main issue we had right before that is that the ecosystem was split in too many different places. There were like some GitHub repositories, some packages were only listed on npm, some other only on GitHub. So it was really hard to understand the power of Strapi and the value of the ecosystem and the plugins, and having all of them like centered in the single place, where make it way easy for every user of Strapi to download and use plugins and know that those plugins exist. So that's the cool thing about the marketplace. So we're all like just so excited today because we just released it and we received already like a lot of positive comments. So that's a really good thing. Also, we are going to release a better or easier way to onboard new users. So we had a dedicated squad, a product growth squad, who work on that. We call that internally the guided tour. So it's a way to onboard, the users and make sure they understand the value of Strapi by building their first content type. So right now, when we were using Strapi, it was kind of difficult sometimes to understand what you're supposed to do when you just join and you just land on the welcome page. So for your information, I can show you some data. For example, like 8% of the project of Strapi, they are like successfully created, and 8% of those projects, they never create a first administrator. So especially only for new users. So it's kind of crazy to see that almost 1 out of 10 users of Strapi, they never understand that they need to create a first administrator to be able to access the administration panel and to start using Strapi. So that's why we wanted to work on a better onboarding for those administrators. We also released, like in January, a faster way to install Strapi, because right now, when you install Strapi, you have a pre-built admin. So we completely removed that step, like the build step, that were causing a lot of errors sometimes because some dependencies were broken or some internet the internet connection was too slow. So by having a pre-built admin, it reduced a lot the numbers of errors and make the installation of Strapi way faster. So we have seen a very good improvement thanks to the telemetry system in terms of adoption of the product with that initiative we released in Jan. We're also making a lot, and I hope some of you already saw that we are making a lot of improvement or fixing a lot of bugs on the content editing part, but also on the V4, because we have, like, a lot of you have raised a lot of issues, and we are doing our best. So we never fixed that amount of issues before, and we will keep focusing on that. We internally improve our process to fix more issues week over week. So that's something we will continue to work on for the next quarter, and we will never stop. Be sure of that. And another thing is that we are working actively, like I would say aggressively, on the migration guides from V3 to V4. It has been the choice we made to release the V4 without a migration guide for many different reasons. But it was really important for the team, for everyone, to release the V4. And we already knew that it was kind of difficult to migrate from V3 to V4. But it was also a way for us to already gather feedback on the V4 and to start fixing issue with only the new users. And now we are working on a migration guide to manually migrate from V3 to V4. But we will also provide migration scripts to make the migration like super fast and super easy for all of you. And I will share more details about that during the Strapi conference. And maybe we'll be able to make some announcement on that. But we expect to have this certainly ready by the end of Q1, maybe in Q2. And we're also working on other problems. So just to give you a bit more context, what I'm not talking about solutions or what kind of feature we're going to implement, that we don't want to overpromise and make promise on something we cannot accomplish on time. So be sure that right now we are working on those problems. So we have a team who's actually working on making sure that our user will be able to customize the interface to their wish. It could be about colors, could be about logos, this kind of customization. We have another team working on a way to make Strapi more customizable from the backend part, from the backend perspective, especially from people who like to not only use JavaScript but other kind of abstraction way to develop things. I cannot see if you're a developer, you can already know about what I'm talking about, but we will make this announcement during StrapiConf. We also have another team working on a way to make sure we can manage assets at scale. We know that in our media library, the media library is great, but when you have more than 10,000 assets, it starts to be a bit complicated. So we are working on that problem as well. And we're also working on something that already be announced related to cloud hosting. And we will give and share more details and information during the StrapiConf about how we could help you to avoid you to manage the hosting part when you deploy or when you develop a project with Strapi. So that's it. Most of those things are going to be announced, and the solution will be shown during the StrapiConf. And if you have some questions, I will try to answer them on those parts. But we want to keep some excitement around the Strapi conference, and we make all the announcement in March 16th and 17th. That's the date, Daniel, I think.
Yep, that is right. It is March 16th and March 17th. Thank you so much for sharing. This has been quite the month. I think we've done quite a lot in January alone. Shipped a lot of really cool updates, a lot of fixes and quality of life changes to Strapi. And like I mentioned, now it's sort of like an AMA with Aurélien. So, if you have any questions, like I mentioned before, now is the perfect time to start to ask them, and we'll answer them live. Of course, in moderation. So let me look at the chat and see where we're at with questions. Um, right. Okay. So I feel like this one is more of like an architectural question or more implementation. So it says, can community plugins be integrated with official Strapi plugins, such as permissions plugin, internationalization?
It depends if the plugins allow like to have some open doors and some API to extend it. Most of the plugins you should be able to make them compatible between each other, but I have no specific answer for this one, like permission and internationalization plugin. Yeah, certainly you can extend the internationalization plugin, but every plugin can work with each other. No problem about that.
Thank you. Yep. I hope that answers your question, Edar Dev. We've got also just for to give you a bit more direction with the types of questions that we're expecting. Would really like it if you could ask more sort of like product oriented questions or sort of strappy and sort of like what you'd like to see if there's something that you would like to know. Hopefully that gives you some insight into the questions that you can ask and the questions that we're sort of expecting. So yes, drop those. I see some questions already.
There are already some questions.
Let
Can you
me know if
please
you see it, and I'll
implement?
bring it up.
Yeah, can you please implement Strapi e-commerce starter, which has products, orders, reports, and more? I think we have some community members or even Strapiers working on the e-commerce plugin. So won't be a starter. It will mostly be a plugin that will bring more content types and functionalities around the e-commerce topic. So sure, yeah. And with like the V4 and what's coming, and we are going to announce during the StrapiConf, like the integration with like e-commerce platforms such as Shopify, Magento, etc., will be way easier.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, at the end, we'll share. But yeah, you should be really excited for StrapiCon. Right.
Chatting with a few Strapi team members, I found out you will be reworking the user and permission system. Will that be? Yeah. It's yeah, we like to make it way better and to apply the same level of permission, very granular at the field level with custom policies. But yeah, the user permission plugin was initially used for also managing the administrator, and we split that into two different kind of users, the administrators and the end users. And yeah, the user permission plugin is mostly going to be an authentication plugin that will help you to create your own SSO, these kind of things, and with better permission system. And yeah, I think maybe that could be a community initiative because right now it's by default installed in Strapi, but we could maybe rework that with some community members because it's not part of the plan in the coming months in the core team of Strapi.
All right, thanks for answering. We'll get one from Alex next. Are you able to prioritize issues with FIFO for users using it in production projects?
Yeah, we try to fix like the issues like are to the most voted by the community, but it's not always easy. Sometimes like when we are working on a specific part of the product, we also use that as an opportunity to fix the issue related to that functional part of the product. So it's not that easy, and also for your own sake, like sometimes some people are not ready or comfortable to work on specific part of the product, so we need also to deal with the availabilities of strapiers, etc. So it's not that easy. So we don't prioritize issues because they are only on V4 and only for production projects, and we don't prioritize customers' issue as well. We try to impact the most users as possible when we fix issues. So if an issue is just has been encountered by just 2 users, and we have another issue that has been raised and voted by 80 users, we will focus on the one that will impact 80 Strapiers, users of Strapi instead of the 2. But yeah.
Okay, I hope that answers your question, Alex. I feel like this is one that we might receive a lot from Thomas. Will the market at some point have premium/paid plugins?
That's part of the vision. Yeah, we'll love to create like a contributor or like a creator economy around Strapi. We still need to define if it's a priority right now for us to do that. I think there are bigger issues to fix first, like improving the product. We have seen a lot of people complaining about struggling to deploy Strapi projects, so I think we would prefer to work on that, and maybe later, we will work on the monetization part of the marketplace. But yeah, we need more people internally to be able to tackle those changes, because it's not really easy. Like you have a lot of legal things and regulations and currencies and billing challenges to tackle or to solve first. And but yeah, it's part of the vision. I have no TA to share with you today.
No worries. Oh, great question, Thomas, and thanks for the answer. One that you might want to, and we might hear again, when will Strapi Cloud be available?
This is the like the $1 billion question. Yeah, we'll share some information during the StrapiConf, but I can tell you it won't be publicly available this year, but we will onboard some users this year. So in 2022, we will start working with some of you to test the cloud and to see if it fits your needs and if you like it and what we should improve and help us doing the quality and insurance on it. So yeah, so it's not a precise answer, but it's already a good answer, I think. And more coming, I think the topic of.
Yeah, it's a great answer to plug the Strapi conference.strapi.io. If you haven't registered now, register, and you will hear a lot more about what's coming in Strapi's future. Next one, is around the rich text editor. Is there any plan to improve the default rich text editor? It is currently only able to make edits in Markdown mode. It's not great for non-coders.
Yeah, super 100% aligned with that's the fact that it's not good for non-coders and non-technical people. So we are obviously aware of that. There's a workaround available, and I think it's highlighted. It's already highlighted in the documentation. Like there's a good blog post that have been written by one of the Strapiers. I think it's Supet, who like wrote an article how to replace the rich text editor with a CK editor, CK editor, and but yeah, I don't know if it's going to be prioritized. So we don't build a roadmap for the entire year. We build a roadmap quarter per quarter because things are moving so fast, and sometimes some issues have been prioritized, and we cannot keep our promise of we wanted to work on the rich text editor in Q2 this year, and no, we cannot keep that promise. So we will see if one of the squads, one of the Strapiers decide to work on that. For information, we give a lot of autonomy to the teams internally to work on what they think that's the most important for us. So if you keep request the change of the rich text editor, you are more likely to see it change in in a few months. So yeah, but sure, I cannot tell you it's going to be fixed next quarter. But if we don't fix it this year, I think that will be an issue. But yeah, I think that we will work on it this year at some point.
Nice. Yep. So keep making those issues.
Yeah,
And eventually
and vote
an
on the
upvote.
roadmap. Yeah,
Absolutely, yes. Most importantly, upvote. This one takes a bit of a turn. How can I contribute to Strapi as a beginner software engineer?
I think you can answer this one, Daniel. No.
I can actually. There's a lot of ways that we're looking for contributions. At the end, I'll share a lot of the community programs that we have. So we're looking for people to help sort of like document a lot of things, particularly around tutorials. We have a Right for the Community program, and we're also looking for people to help sort of like boost our plugin ecosystem, get your plugin on the on the marketplace, submit it, look at the documentation. If you see any small typo at some point, we'll be much more proactive with getting a lot of those contributions. So those are a few ways. I hope I've answered your question.
And you can also, if some of you like are content editors, like you are writing content, you can just participate to some user interviews as well. So don't know if some people from the content squad are in the chat, but maybe it would be a nice way to identify some content editors, because we really like to. Sometimes we struggle a bit to talk with and to do user interviews with content editors. So if there are some in the audience, it would be awesome to raise your hands, and maybe we could find a way to contact you. That's a way to contribute to Strapi.
I'm looking in the chat to see if there's anyone on the content squad, but I think they'll present themselves. Also, we're almost around time. I think we'll take 5 more questions. So if you've got an itching question, now is a great time to sort of bring those up. We have some questions around refresh tokens and auth, I think those have been answered. So this is an interesting question, I think. Are there any plans to extend Strapi to be API marketplace like Rapid API, or any specific plugin to do things like users can generate API keys or see their API rates, or API limitation on users?
That could be a great idea for a plugin. I don't think it should be done at the core level, and within Strapi it should be a plugin that will like override maybe the router and try to limit the API usage. But yeah, you can extend that. I think you should create a plugin that will be that could interest a lot of people.
That would actually be really interesting.
Hmm.
It, and remind me, like, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we have the Mosive plugin, which um, is, I think, adjacent to some of what has been described there, particularly around like managing a lot of the API requests and sort of like looking at them. So
Hmm.
and that's on the plugin. I mean, on the marketplace, so you can have a look at that. Um, I think this one is more um, yeah from Vinay. Can we have an option to customize the time picker plugin? Or maybe that's the time picker component. Currently, the time picker dropdown is non-intuitive.
Even with the new design and the new component. But yeah, feel free to share more feedback on that in the chat, because as we have the design system, it's completely decoupled from Strapi. It's the design system, so we can work on improving the components, and it will improve the experience for all the people using the design system and all the projects in the design system, including Strapi. Uh, so and yeah, the customization. So it's for me like kind of having your own field. Um, yeah, I cannot say too much thing, but come to the StrapiConf, you will have seen you will see a very good surprise, and you will be very excited. So yeah, it's coming. What you're asking is
Absolutely.
coming.
It is coming. It is coming.
Yeah.
And yes, I've seen Yanis and Maiva Content Squad. So if you look through the chat on Twitch, there's an email there if you have any questions about or any sort of feedback about the content editing experience. And I think that's something that I would love to end with. We have a question here, and I think I'd love it if you could elaborate more on what you mean by content experience.
Yeah. Wow, this one. Yeah, I can talk about that for hours.
Perfect.
Yeah, in Strapi we have two personas. The first one, so personas are like a kind of users, and we have the developers. They install Strapi, they configure Strapi, they customize Strapi, they mostly create the content structure, and then we have the content editors or the teams that create, like write, publish, review contents, translate contents, and the content experience is about focusing on this kind of users, and it's making sure that they stay creative, they are productive when they use Strapi. Like we could like provide even more shortcuts in our interface to create easily or duplicate easily some entries, um, make like the translation process easier, uh, like improving for example, in Strapi, you cannot right now create an entry from a relational field. You have to go to like the other content type, create the entry, and then go back to your initial content type to be able to link that initial resources with the one you just created. So this kind of thing are the content editing experience, and yeah, making sure like developers feel productive. We call that developer experience, and the content experience is about making the content editors productive, creative, and make sure they love Strapi. Like for example, improving and changing the rich text editor to make it easier, or to offer different options to, okay, I want Markdown editor, or I want a HTML editor, or I want a Notion-like editor. It's improving the content experience because we're giving the choice to our users to customize Strapi to make sure it fits their needs, or the way they would like to use a CMS. So yeah, that's the very precise and concrete way what it is.
Amazing. I don't think anyone would have answered that question better. And okay, just to tease us a bit more, is there anything you can tell us before StrapiConf?
What kind of thing we could share before the StrapiConf? I don't
Attend,
know.
register.
Yeah, this kind of thing. No, it's going to be. We are going to make a lot of teasings. We have a lot of things in our plate and in the kitchen, but it's not fully ready yet. So you can expect a lot of teasing and things that we are going to work next quarter. We are going to I think, show our ambition in terms of open source and how we plan to support the open source ecosystem, like other open source projects, but even the people developing the ecosystem, contributing to plugins, etc. We will do some initiatives, and I think, yeah, you will be surprised by what we are going to announce. And yeah, we will share a bit more the vision around the community, the plugins, the marketplace, and what we plan for this year. And yeah, we will have more information about the cloud. And yeah, and we have some special guests for the call. So yeah, come and you will see.
Special guest. If I wasn't helping run it, I would definitely be attending. But thank you so much, Aurélien. I think you can all
Thank
see why
you.
I call him a fan favorite. It's been lovely having you present to us a lot of what's coming up and answering the questions and taking the time to answer the questions. So thank you so much again.
Thank
Um,
you.
if you want to hear more, register for Strapi. So yeah, thank you so much. I'll be taking you back. And up next, we have a lovely demo from one of the only verified plugin authors on our new marketplace, uh, Boaz Poolman. All right.
Hey, thanks for the intro, Daniel.
Yeah, anytime. So, what do you have for us for today?
Yeah, cool. So I want to demo a plugin I've been working really hard on lately, and it has just been listed on the marketplace as well. So this is the config sync plugin. So I'll share my screen.
Awesome. Well, we've got a lot of people cheering for you in the chat. Everyone's saying, "Wow,
Yeah,
you're
awesome.
amazing, Boaz, Boaz, Boaz." So let's go. Yeah, let's do this. Everyone's pretty
Thank
excited.
you.
Okay, I will disappear
Okay,
and
cool.
let you do your thing.
Yeah, cool. So I've got the marketplace page right here for the config sync plugin. So yeah, I'll do a short introduction. This plugin has been made for developers using Strapi to more easily migrate their data across environments. This was really a big issue for me using Strapi with multiple developers, for example. So say I update some API permissions on my local instance, then there was no way for me to easily migrate this to the instance of my co-developer. So yeah, this is really what this plugin is all about, and I wanted to show a short demo of it. So for demonstration purposes, I've set up two instances of Strapi. So I have one here and another one here. This one is a dark theme, just to so you can see which is which. And these are actually connected to the same GitHub repo. So this is the repo for this Strapi instance, and it's a clean install. All I did was create an admin user, and I've installed the config sync plugin. So once you get here, you have the plugin installed. You can click on it, and then you'll get to this screen, which says, "Looks like this is the first time you are using config sync for this plugin," and you can make the initial export. So we'll do that. So we'll confirm we can export. All right, so that was successful. Then I can go to my terminal. And here I have on the left side I have one install, and on the right side I have another. I have the other install. So on the left side we have the one where we just exported the config. So if we then do git status, we can see there is now a new folder, config sync. So I'll show that in my Visual Studio Code, so it'll be a bit more easy. So that is, this folder was just created by exporting. And what this is, it's just a very big dump of JSON files. So if we look at one here, this is the admin role Strapi author. And basically what this is, it's a dump of a very specific database record. In this case, the Strapi author admin role. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. So when we look at our database, we here have like the Strapi author admin role, and all the data that is associated to this record will be exported to this JSON file. And now we have this as a file, we can very easily move it across environments. So yeah, that's pretty much the way it works. So now we have made the initial export. Now we can also make some smaller changes. So say we go into settings, into advanced settings, and say I enable email confirmation for the user permissions plugin. So I save this. Oh, I need a URL here, so that's fine. So that's saved. So now I've changed some settings. When we go back to the config sync plugin, you can see there is actually a change listed now. And if we click on it, we can see exactly the change we just made. So on the left side, we can see what this setting is in the sync directory, so in the JSON file. So email confirmation was set to false, and in the database, it is set to true. So you can see exactly the change you made, and you can export it again, and then again, it'll be written to the file, and you can move it across environments. So let's do that. So we now have this folder with JSON files, so we can add it and commit it. It's files. All right, then we'll push it to Git, and then we'll pull it here on our other environment. Cool. So we'll go to the other instance where we just pulled. And if we now go to the plugin here, we can see this change again. So if we click on it, we now see the reversed way of this. So we can see that the email confirmation is set to true in the sync directory because we just pulled that change. And in the database, it's actually set to false still because no change has been made. So now when you look at that, email confirmation is still off. So what you can now do, you can import this change from the JSON file. And when you now go to your setting, it is set to on. So that's really the way you can utilize these JSON files to move your config across environments. So I think this is really a feature that's been missing from Strapi for quite a while. Yeah, and I can actually show one more feature from the plugin because we just changed some plugin config, so from the used permission plugin. But we can actually also change some permissions. So say I give the public role all the upload permissions. Then I give the admin role, the author role. I can give it some permissions as well. We'll save that, and maybe I'll add a new locale of French. Cool. So now we changed some config. Then we can go to the config sync plugin again, and we can see diff just as we did before. But you can actually do the same thing from the command line. So we just made the change, and here we can utilize the config sync CLI. So when we do it like this, we can see a helper log, so we can see all the commands we have. So we actually have the diff command as well. So say I run config sync diff, we can see the exact diff as we just saw it in the admin panel as well. Oh, let's make this a little bit bigger. So yeah, we can see these three changes we just made, which are the same as in the admin panel. So, and I can actually export and import from here as well. So I can do config sync exports, and that'll do the same thing as we just did. So get a confirmation prompt, and then everything will be exported. So if we do git status, we can see these specific JSON files have been changed, and there has been a new one for the French locale. So we can add that again. We can push it to git again. And then we can pull on our other environment again. And then here we can do the other commands, of course, then we can import. Yeah, you have some flags in this CLI to make it a little bit easier. So for one, you have the Y flag, so you can just import without having the confirmation prompt. So say you want to integrate this for a automated deployment in some kind of pipeline, you could use this so you have no confirmation prompt. Yeah, so everything has been imported now. So if you go to the other instance, then we can see we have a new locale of French, and well, all the changes we made on the other environment are here now as well. The public role will have all the upload permissions, and I made some changes to the admin role as well. So yeah, that's really the gist of it. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. That was it.
That was a really cool demo. Everyone, I see why everyone was sharing. One, sort of like what inspired you to create the plugin?
Yeah, that's a good question, Daniel. Well, I have been working with Drupal for about 5 years now. And they actually have this exact feature for their CMS. So if I make a permission change on my local instance, I can export it this way, add the files, which will be YAML files in that case. In this case, it will be JSON files, and well, move it across environments. But that was really the inspiration for me because that works so well for me in Drupal. I was like, we need to have this for Strapi as well.
Wow. No, like I'm like that's the beauty of the plugin API. Like you can sort of like extend it and have, you know, a lot of functionality that out of the box you wouldn't. You can do exactly that. Speaking of the plugin API, this works with V4, right? How was your process of building that and getting it on the marketplace?
The experience of building this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. I have been making plugins for V3 as well, but I must say, definitely like the design system has been made like a lot better in V4. In V3 we had a buffet or buffet, but it was very well, not very good documentation it had. So yeah, the design system, I think it's a big step to very easily create an admin panel for your plugin. Yeah, and the rest of their experience, it was very good.
Nice. Okay. I see a lot of people say this plugin saved them. So yeah, shout out to you for making that. And if you have any questions for Boaz, please add them to the chat. I think I see a few. One from Tomas. Does this export API tokens?
No, it doesn't natively, but there is a setting that you can use to register custom data types. So you can actually export data from any database table, and you can register the API tokens table, and then you can export those. And yeah, that is possible. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Thank you. And one from Bobby. Is there a way to force it to import and or export automatically without having to click?
There is a way to force imports. So there's also a setting for that. I called it import on Bootstrap. So then when your Strapi app is starting bootstrapping, then it'll automatically import. But there is no way to automatically export because that would really it didn't really work completely good. So I decided to just hide it behind a click. So yeah, no, only for importing. Yes.
Okay, perfect. I see Derek is doing an amazing job handling a lot of the questions there. And let me just look. Lots of just um, shout outs. Awesome plugin from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks, guys.
yeah. Let's see. Here's a question from Coding After 30. Boaz, how did you get started with Strapi plugin development, and what was the first plugin you made?
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's a nice question. Well, I found out about Strapi, I think at the end of 2019. And well, I played around with it a little bit, and well, I really liked it. And then at the start of 2020, I'm sorry, yeah, start of 2020, I made my first plugin, which was the sitemap plugin, which is actually also migrated to V4 if you want to use it for V4. Um, and well, there wasn't really a lot of documentation for plugin development back then, but I knew that all the integrations from Strapi, like the documentation or users permissions, those were all plugins as well. So I just looked at the source code from those, and that way I figured out how to build plugins. And also that way I found out that the admin panel of Strapi is actually built in React, which is a language I like very much. So that just fit right in my street, and I dug in the source code, and that's kind of the way I did it.
Thanks. I've seen a comment here. We need more tutorials on YouTube because just documentation sometimes is not enough. I can confirm we will be releasing more videos on YouTube. So, yeah, if you're on YouTube, look at that. And I think that is all with questions for now. But thank you so much, Boaz, for taking the time to share your plugin. We're going to be doing a lot more of this, by the way, sharing and highlighting a lot of the really interesting ways that different people in the community are using Strapi. And we'll make this a theme in a lot of our other community calls. Next month, we will not have a community call because right now all roads lead to StrapiConf. But we will communicate about how you too can be like Boaz and demo your plugin in front of the whole Strapi community. So yet again, I just want to thank you, Boaz, for making the time to share. And like everyone has already said, really great job, really great demo, and we are looking forward to seeing what you create next.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. I'll send you back now. And we will wrap up because we are just around the hour. So just give me a minute and I will do something really quick. Right, there we go. Like I said before, oops, I should really take that out. Like I said before, all roads lead to StrapiConf. So StrapiConf is on the 17th, 16th, and 17th of March. You can see it in my background. We've got some lovely branding. Very slowly, we're releasing speakers, and we'll have some really amazing sessions. So go to conf.strapi.io, and you'll be expecting a lot. And we have some really interesting things that we want to show you. So the next call is in April, and we can't wait to see you at StrapiConf. So register. We have this really cool Easter egg on the website that shows you a PR. So check out your PRs when you register and share them wherever you'd like. And that's it from me. Thank you so much for everyone joining. It was so nice to reconnect with everyone, and we can't wait to see you at StrapiConf. See you in Discord, see you on the internet, see you on GitHub. Take care and stay safe. Thanks again, everyone. Bye.